Correct, Karunya. It was being spoken about for months. We ourselves broke the story as well on this. And today, finally, now the transaction getting completed and coming out in the open, the market. In fact, both the listed companies of L&T, the technology companies, were in the green. Mindtree ended in the red. Interestingly, L&T also, fell in the last hour of trade. So, a lot of, action in the respective stocks, but it's a big deal, one of its kind, which the market is analyzing. And we've got you right from L&T's top brass. We've got you take from Mindtree. Now let's get the circle completed and also get you the two gentlemen, Chirag Negandhi and Salil Pitale of Axis, who were the bankers to the deal and have played a very critical and important part in this particular transaction. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us on ET Now. Chirag, in fact, congratulations to both of you as well for completing the transaction. It's a big one and was happening for some time now. Talk to us about what led into, some people are calling it hostile takeover, one of its kind, large deal in the IT space for sure. But it was seen coming, right? It was not a complete surprise for the market. What is your initial take? Chirag?
No, I think, yeah, sorry.
Salil, you want to take this? Yeah.
So I don't think it really should be seen in the context of a hostile takeover. I think L&T top brass has really clarified also that this is part of their strategy on the overall services piece. The strategy of the services piece, especially the IT side, goes across multiple entities. L&T already has 2 entities under L&T Technology Services and Infotech. And I think the entire product basket, the customer capabilities that a Mindtree brings to the table, just is a complementary skill set that comes alongside, and it broadens the entire services basket that L&T has to offer. So it isn't really hostile in that sense. I think important also to recognize the fact that L&T per se is a very independently run, board-driven company, which has had a a long track record of essentially giving independence to its own various subsidiaries, running them as independent entities. They call them independent companies anyway, in any case. So one would expect that as it goes along, clearly L&T would see greater value creation as a principal shareholder of this entity, and therefore will be greater value creation for all the other minority shareholders also in Mindtree. I would not really classify it as hostile. It's more about L&T completing its entire services basket, and letting each of these companies flourish on their own in any case. Yeah.
Okay, Chirag, let me come to you now. We've heard from both the parties, one aggrieved, one proud as well. But at the same time, there is, like Mindtree management was talking about current shareholders backing them, including Nalanda Capital. There is also word on the street that some of the large shareholders from the domestic fund side, which hold close to 9% now, are also not wanting to upset the, they are backing the Mindtree management as well. You must have spoken to the current shareholders as well, or reached out to. What is the kind of feedback have you gathered? Because you are also perhaps would be you're having responsibility of getting 15% further from the open market, or perhaps from these shareholders.
Sure. Yeah. So Ajay, we've spoken to quite a few of the fund managers also, and if to add to what Salil was saying, this is L&T acquiring it with the kind of holding that the promoters in Mindtree had. There was always the possibility of this being acquired someday. There was the possibility maybe of some PE funds coming in and taking this out, versus that there is now a large conglomerate that has come in that is excellent, that has over the years created value for its shareholders, created value for its all stakeholders, including its employees. From the mutual funds and the large investors that we've spoken to, people understand that there is a complementary skill set that is being brought in. This is in no way, I think the first initial pushback was, if there are 3 IT companies within the same conglomerate, how does one reach out to a client, and who then takes that business? As we dug deeper, we found out that these were more complementary businesses with very, very minimal client overlap, and even within that client, the kind of services that they were providing were very different. So I think we believe that a lot of the investors are seeing value to a large conglomerate like L&T coming in. They have time and again said that they don't have any issue with the current management, and the plans of we've seen a lot of things about the company getting merged into another company, etc. Even the top management of L&T has come on TV and said that those are all far out plans, and what happens at a later stage will have to be seen. What is more critical right now is that shareholder value gets created, that there is synergies, and that the employees feel comfortable about what is happening. That there's no reason why we believe that some of the institutional investors that we've been speaking to will positively vote for this, and will look to help L&T get their stake higher as well.
Salil, how much is the time duration to which you or L&T in fact has to gather 15% more? Because when we spoke to Mr. Nayak during the day, he said that he would be very comfortable if the board goes ahead and acquires say upwards of 61%, also much higher than from current levels. What's the thinking? You must have worked very closely with them. What's the thinking at the top level at L&T? At what level are they comfortable or very happy to hold stake in Mindtree beyond the current?
I think L&T has really put its laid its cards on the table, crystal clear. They've agreed to acquire the 20%. They've also got an order given which is subject to regulatory approvals, and there's an open offer to be done. Just to keep in perspective that this entire part is the first key gating item essentially is the CCI or the Competition Commission approval. That takes its own time. So unless that comes into play, the next steps on this transaction don't necessarily get laid out as they are. However, all the steps are out there in the public domain. So I guess from a timing point of view, 20% is signed and sealed. The price is signed and sealed. The CCI approval is pending. The SEBI process itself runs its usual process, and once the approvals are in place, thereafter L&T can act on both the broker order as well as on the open offer process. In terms of where that leads to in terms of percentage stakes, again L&T spelled out what their desire is, so that's out there loud and clear. In terms of where it finally ends up is also a function of how the stock behaves, the kind of interest that the open offer shows, and so on. Yeah.
Hi gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us on ET Now. This is Nayanthara Rai from the New Delhi studio. We are running out of time, so Chirag, I'm going to come to you first. Congratulations on the deal. You've talked about how you're waiting for approvals. Have you factored in any possible delay to your proposed closure date from those promoters that are against the deal, that have equated the deal, whether fortunately or unfortunately, to the Me Too movement, saying consent was not taken? Are you expecting any legal problems, legal troubles, any roadblocks? Have you factored in any of that in?
So we've considered a lot of those, and frankly, I wouldn't, don't want to comment on the Me Too part. I don't think it's unfair. I think it's completely unfair. But having said that, on the legal, if there are any legal troubles, etc., like Salil mentioned, what the next step for this is really for the CCI approvals to come in. Those can take their own time, and that's really where we've kept the buffers in. But as you know, what we've built in here is that once the CCI approvals come in, then you go in with the broker agreement as well as the open offer. So yes, we do know that these things take their time. There isn't, the way L&T is looking at this is that this business needs to be built out over the next few years as well. So I don't think a 15-day period here or there is going to change anything dramatically. I think what we want is for the investors and for all stakeholders to really see that there is value to be created here. There are great synergies that get built out, and we hope that everyone will see it in that light.
All right, gentlemen, on that note, we'd really like to thank you for taking time out and helping our viewers understand the nuances of the deal, what L&T Infotech is also planning once they have a majority stake eventually in the company, which they do target to have at this point. Let's also